Okay, we're doing the side view for this character now, so I threw it on the light table, and you see that nice solid black line. I'm just drawing back in our key lines again, so vertical key line, and on for the ground. Oh, and registration marks on the top and bottom. That's why it's good to try and keep them the same grid line. And going a little faster, but still, like, take your time. Make sure these are right. Don't have to make them too crooked. Don't let it shift. You see, I tack down a little paper. Keep it from shifting. At least when you don't have to have the tape down all the time, but definitely when you're making the actual registration marks, you don't want it to move at all. Might as well do this one at the top since I made it. There's our head height one. So remember, we're going to ink the character later, but for now, only ink the lines that you need for the head heights and registration marks. And I like these little Sharpie or Milwaukee kind of Constructure black ultrafines. It's pretty rugged. They're meant to, I use them out in the studio and doing construction and wood. Like they'll right through grime and grit. So if you have shavings and you kind of beating these up, because these model sheets are going to be, you're going to have your armature wire scratching on there and adhesives and super glue. And so might as well be prepared that this isn't going to be all nice and pretty by the time I'm done. All right, cool. So we still have the side view and all the stuff to consider there. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to start right at the belly or at the crotch, I guess. Start the head, I suppose, too. But one of the things we want to do first is we want to put these landmarks down for the eyes, nose, and mouth. So I didn't put my graph paper under there. I'm kind of regretting it. So I probably should have left a graph paper. For the camera recording, though, it got really busy. Like it was hard to see. And so for you guys, I'd say keep your graph paper underneath your tracing paper when you're doing this, and that will make your life a heck of a lot easier. So I'm going to try it with this little red marker. And yeah, these little gel pens are nice. So either one of these works okay. And if I had done it already, it would have made my life easier. So we'll go here is the top of the eyes. And we'll go bottom of the nose. And it's easy to get it crooked without the graph paper. That's why I was like, oof. High probability of messing this up. Yeah, that was off a tiny bit. That's okay. We'll live with it. What was that first line is why. Is this one. Not too bad. Okay. Yep. And then the collarbone. And yeah, it's just all these little subtleties you're going to adjust. Like if my drawing might have been off, like one shoulder is a little tiny bit higher than the other. I don't have nipples on this guy, so we'll go with the whatever landmark works. That's why they call landmark. You choose what works for your character. Maybe he's a turtle shell, whatever, and you have a different costume. So his armpits, I think, are a good landmark. I'll go down here to the groin. I almost want to throw a belly button on there. The bottom of the rib cage, I can just barely see it right there. Top of that rib cage, whether it's the apex or where the bottom bony protrusion of the rib cage is, either one of those can be helpful. And if you didn't have a belly button yet, I could designate between the nipple and crotch halfway would be the belly button, so I could just go like that. Now, since I waited and did this on the for the side view, yeah, maybe the knee, I get the knees. I'm going to just leave that black line there. Um, yeah, I think that's all right. And remember, I'm going to leave the arm off. I'm just going to leave a circle where the arm's going to go in there. But yeah, I'll have to switch the papers around, redraw these lines if I want them to show up. Okay, so that's pretty much ready to go. If I wanted to test this out, I could just slide a sheet of paper in between. I can manage to get a little separation here. There we go. Without pulling the tape up at least. Yeah, that's what I have now. I'm just taking a look at my side view over here. So he's bow-legged, but we still want the S curve to happen. So let's establish that first. So up here, at the top of the thigh, right about there. Here's our thigh over here. Here's our, I guess that's what I should have gotten to is the hip mark. So maybe I'll mark the hips, mark that one. Here's the armpit. Okay, so top of the hip's going to be right about here. So I'm just going to go there and we'll go forward. It's the S curve of the leg, so we're going to go like this. Maybe not that much. Then where the rear end is. And then leg, I'm going to keep his legs kind of noodly, you might say. And then do the foot. So I was going to make his feet maybe a little bigger. So go across here, the toe, and there we go. Maybe we'll go something about like that. And a little heel. And kind of do the outside, the toes come towards you, and something like that. And sometimes this will come down and then flare back up for the toe. So yeah, it gives you, room to explore some of these shapes in here. So bring it on down. And like a slight little belly going. So maybe we'll accentuate that. And then the top of the rib cage there to the apex. So so there. And then his arm, his shoulder, his neck's pretty clear here. I'm gonna remember forward neck lean just ever so slightly. Like that the ear hole's usually dead center in the head, so he's got these slightly exaggerated ears. There's the nose coming out over here, and the brow, forehead, and then the skull usually comes back a little more here and down. There's his cheek and jawline, so we'll do. Should we follow that? And then we have the forward line on the chest, so just kind of keep that chest going, back to the shoulders. Lake's got a little thin, but that's how the design is. Like he's a little wider up top and thinner in the downside. So that's why I have a hard time. I do a lot of anatomy, more hyperrealism in my design. So this is a little tough one for me, personally, or artistically, in my own style. Let's see where that's going there. Okay, we have all the registration marks we need. But before I take this off and put them side by side to finish up, let's finish up that nose, maybe a little bit the eyeballs, maybe over here. Um, Maybe we'll give him some somewhat deep set eyes, so I'm gonna do that. And then the front, and the mouth is right there. The little hook. And then, like I said, the nose is gonna do less, a little bit less detail, and so I'm not gonna full on do like nostril holes for a change, which is kind of nice. Don't have to worry about that for a change, and then there's the brow. And that's what these rough lines of wax is. It's nice you could pull out and explore that shape quite a bit. So his neck got a little stiff. I wish his head is maybe forward a tiny bit. We'll see how this comes out. Right here, here's the jaw. There's the big old ears. Round that up a bit. All right, let's take this thing off and see what it's looking like. I'm curious. See how it came out. Let's get a little surprise. Each time you do a puppet, each puppet takes on a life of its own. That's why don't stress if your drawing's not exact to your image plane. Your model sheets aren't precise to your first sketch or doodle. Like everything kind of is going to build on itself, and the sculpture itself is going to, of course, have another life of its own. Yeah, I think the a smaller skull towards the top and broader chin, cheek. I kind of maybe missed that nuance on there. I might have set his eyes back a little far. So let's put those out on a bigger piece of paper. Okay, I went and grabbed my graph paper. I should have done that right away. And I just taped these down so that they're registered on the graph paper pretty well. I can see now where my lines may have gotten off just a tiny, tiny bit. Not too bad though. Just making this top line here. So as you're going, nudge things up. Stop every once in a while and take stock of where, how all of your marks are doing. That's going to make the final inking and construction part of this much easier. There we go. I kind of know. And I think what I was struggling with there is didn't have a design in mind yet. I was just kind of using this as a blank exercise type character, so not how I normally would work, of course. So let's kind of design this. So I'm gonna maybe focus on the head for a minute. You see, I kind of narrowed the skull a little less anatomically accurate. So let's do that. Let's kind of make his head a little more cone headish. Right? Maybe less brow, more cone heady, and let's make his neck a little bit thinner here, maybe. So yeah, you see, this wax pencil is so cool. You can just kind of goof around, play with shapes, and not have too much of a time erasing. It's a little bit of work to do, but there we go. Let's see if that does anything at all, or if I'm just chasing my tail. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, maybe make this even more bulbous. Another thing we could shoot for in the spirit of Wallace and Gromit. In order to do that, come across. Now I got the graph papers really helping quite a bit. And so way up here, I'm gonna do this little upturn nose. There we go. That's better. And the eyeball, maybe they're set in a little too deep into the skull, so you kind of play with that too. You don't want too much of a. And I also like these little, whoops, pencil erasers are quite helpful. So yeah, so this is starting to turn into something. But if I go too deep into designing this while I'm showing you just how to get your own generic one, I don't want. Please don't make your designs like mine. Like just use it as a basis. And I'm trying to give you all uh, a kind of framework to design by, but not by no means am I trying to say, hey, make this character. Just this is just kind of one easier way to follow so that the recipe kind of can come together for everybody for their own style. There we go. And maybe that's a little too far back right there. And I could make I could accentuate that. So yeah, let's just exaggerate, some features of that's the or the fun of these types of characters. So we'll give them a great big kind of wider mouth. It goes back into the cheek some more. In the navel at least. There we go. And so each time I'm kind of satisfied with a new design change, I'll go back over another. And maybe I do give them a little bit more of a chin. And kind of those core simple shapes, right? Those abstract shapes. I want you all to look at the model sheets for Disney, for Ghibli, for whatever your favorite stop motion film, 3D film, 2D film. Look at what the model sheets, how they're done in production. In the art of books, look at the art of books and find some good representation for yourself to follow. There we go. This looks a little bit more interesting. The legs definitely are off, and the body, he's wider this way, so I'm going to keep him somewhat flat. So I'm just going to grab this blue and continue nice long. I'm going to get rid of the anatomy. That is I would say my forte. And crotch just comes across right there, that red line. So the butt should go down past the crotch. So he should have his butt down here, maybe a little bit more. There we go. To the hamstring. The gluteus maximus goes way down the back of the thigh, and the knees right here. Remember, the kneecap is going to be lower. If we're doing some basic anatomy, kneecap is lower down here, and the back of the calf goes up higher. So there's like a diagonal that goes across right there. So in keeping in line with that, I'm going to narrow him up quite a bit. And then we'll do the calf up here. Maybe a smaller heel. And we'll go there. And yeah, I don't think I want to go too much more detailed than that. Remember the pectoral, the chest goes there. Even if you had a big chest, it's going to, the angles are going to go this way. Even if I give him great big pectoral muscles, right? There's the top of the rib cage, the belly, down in here, on the thigh. There we go. And as I'm going, I'm thinking like more graphical, less I'm trying to get rid of my anatomy, at least for myself on this. And If I want to start playing around with the hairlines, I can. I'll clean this up a little bit more. Yeah, and I just use rechargeable batteries in these things, and I don't have to charge them too often. They're really great. And switch between. So this should be kind of a good set for everybody if you have, a couple of these, maybe regular graphite pencils, maybe some colored gel pens, eventually. Some liners, some sharp markers. This is my regular graphite pencil here. You can go back in with. And yeah, so there you can see the graphite really starts something. Ghibli does that a lot. You see in the Ghibli videos. But it gets messy, the graphite. Um, the dark graphite will get messier pretty quick. Didn't really refine that eye back in yet, did I? Cool. I'm looking at this oval shape over here. The shape I went with. And trying to match them up. They were looking a little less symmetrical. And then if you wanted to go in here with the pupil, it does, oh, okay, it does kind of come forward, a bit like that. And the eyebrow is up here, so let's go, yeah. All right, come back down here. And maybe add little toes right there. And if we want to define that a bit more, you can go down here and have the feet turn slightly, just a tiny bit outward, so you can see um, the way the ankles go. Usually the inner ankle's higher than the outer ankle. I'm going to skip giving this guy ankles at all, and just going to oh, so glad I got the graph paper back. Oh my gosh, what was I doing? I was being lazy, right? I didn't feel like grabbing it. It's like, why would I not grab my graph paper when it's sitting right over there? Can't bring your graph paper. Maybe you yeah, I'm almost ready to ink this guy, but I want to explore some of the hair and costume stuff with him first before I do anything else. See what else I can clean up with this. Getting rid of anatomy, getting rid of anatomy. Don't need to see any of that muscle. Even its current face is getting there. A little bit less anatomical. Um, get that blue and the red on the eyebrow. So maybe you know, eyebrows I kind of consider part of the hair, but um, they're also good landmarks. But maybe now he's looking like Bert and Ernie. Maybe give him a unibrow. I don't know. Maybe make a graphical piece out of it. But I'm exploring what else I can do. But I think that's where some references is gonna come in handy. I think also the chest maybe got a little small, so he does need, based on the thickness of the shoulders over on that side. So maybe bulk those up a little bit more. There we go. And he looks balanced. Happy, relatively happy with that part. Legs are skinny. Make them skinnier. A little butt tone. Make sure that lower back's clear. All right. And he should be ready to do the hair and costume, and we'll do the final ink on the next episode. See you next time.